Okay, so now we're going to look at all the different vocabulary and ways to solve angles that are on parallel lines being cut by a transversal. Question 1 says, name 2 pairs of supplementary angles. Well, supplementary means that they make a straight line, and supplementary also means that they add up to 180 degrees. So let's look for 2 pairs of angles that make a straight line here. One pair is angle 1 and angle 2. Together they make this straight line, so 1 and 2 are a pair of supplementary angles. Another pair is angle 5 and angle 7. They make this straight line, so together 5 and 7 make a pair of supplementary angles. Question 2. Question 2 says, are angle 5 and angle 7 congruent? Well, congruent means equal or the same. Angle 5 and angle 7 are not equal or the same because they're next to each other. They add up to 180. Angle 5 is equal to angle 8 because they are diagonal from each other. But it is not equal to angle 7 because they are adjacent, which means next to each other. Angles that are next to each other are not equal. Question 3. Question 3 says, name 2 angles that are corresponding. Corresponding means angles that are in the same spot or the same seat when you box out the 2 groups of angles you see. So here's group 1. Here's group 2. Angle 1 is in the top left corner of the first group, which is in the same seat as angle 5, which is in the top left corner of the second group. So angle 1 and 5 are corresponding. Another pair of corresponding angles would be angle 8 and angle 4. 8 is in the bottom right, 4 is in the bottom right. So 8 and 4 are corresponding. The last 2 pairs, in case you want to know, are 6 and 2 that correspond. 7 and 3 also correspond. Question 4. Question 4 simply states, what do complementary angles add up to? Well, here's the trick. Complementary angles add up to 90 because the C turns into a 9 really easy. Complementary angles, 90 degrees together. That's question 4. Question 5 says, if angle 1 is 80 degrees, we put in 80 degrees here. Oh, I gotta erase that because it's a little sloppy. If angle 1 is 80 degrees, what is angle 2? Well, 1 and 2 together have to add up to 180 because they make this straight line. So if angle 1 is 80, I'll do 180 minus the 80 I already have, and I get 100 left over. Angle 2 must be 100 degrees because angles that make a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Question 6. Question 6 states, I'm going to move these questions over and move this diagram down. Oh, no. Question 6 states, if angle 5 is 125 degrees, what is angle 8? Well, let's put 125 degrees in here. Now, I know that 5 and 6 have to add up to 180, but 5 and 8, which are diagonal from each other, are going to be equal. So 8 is automatically 125 degrees. I don't have to do any math here. Because diagonal angles, which are called vertical angles, are equal. Question 7 says, if angle 5 is 125 degrees, how much is angle 7? Well, if I see that angle 5 is 125, 5 and 7 together make this straight line. Straight lines always have to add up to 180. So if 5 is 125, I'll do 180 minus the 125 I already have. 10 minus 5 is 5, 7 minus 2 is 5, 1 minus 1 is nothing. Angle 7 has to be 55 degrees. Angle 7 has to be 55 degrees because 125 plus 55 125 plus 55 makes this straight line, which equals 180. We're going to look at a couple more for our test, and then we'll be good. Here's one. It said, if angle 3 is 65 degrees, how much is angle 4? Well, if this was 65, angle 3 and 4 together make a straight line, so they have to add up to 180. I'll do 180 minus the 65 I already have. Borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5, 7 minus 6 is 1, 1 comes down. Angle 4 must be 115 degrees because they're next to each other making a straight line. They have to add up to 180. Question 2 says, if angle 3 is still 65 degrees, how much is angle 7? Well, let's erase what I did in question 1. If I look at my top 4 and my bottom 4, angle 3 is in the bottom left corner, and so is angle 7. If they're in the same seat, they're equal. So angle 7 has to be 65 degrees. Let's fill in all the angles really quickly. Once I know 3 is 65 and 4 is 115, and I know 1 is diagonal from 4, so it's also 115, and 2 is diagonal from 3, so it's also 65. On top, if I have 115, you're on the video. Go on YouTube. On top, if I have 115 and 65, then down here I have 115 and 65 on top. And on bottom I have 65 and 115, and down here I have 65 and 115. So that's another way I could have figured out that if angle 3 is 65, angle 7 is also 65 degrees. So the second question would be 65. I'm going to do about 2 or 3 more, and then every one of these questions with different numbers and wording will be on your test. So the last few, if angle 8 is 103 degrees, here's question 1. What is angle 5? Well, if 8 is 103, 8 and 5 together make a straight line, so they have to add up to 180. I'll do 180, take away 103 that I already have. 10 minus 3 is 7, 7 minus 0 is 7, nothing left over. 5 equals 77. Now that I have 2 angles, I can fill in all of my angles. I know that 7, which is diagonal from 8, is also 103. And I know that 6, which is diagonal from 5, is 77. Then when I go up top, I know I have 77 and 103 on the bottom. And I have 77 and 103 on the top. So the question 2, which says if angle 8 is 103, what's angle 3? Angle 3 has to be 77 because it's in the same seat as angle 5. Top right, Angle 3 is 77. Erase this to go to question 3. Question 3 states, what is the vertical angle of angle 1? Well, here's angle 1, and vertical means diagonal with angles, so angle 2 is vertical angle 1. The answer is angle 2 here. Question 4 is line C. Here's line C. Is it parallel, those two lines being parallel, or is it transversal? Well, parallel lines go in the same direction and never cross. So A and B are parallel, traveling in the same direction and never cross. Because C crosses through A and B, is not parallel to anyone, C is transversal. Question number 4, line C is the transversal because it cuts through the parallels. Question number 5 simply asks, what do supplementary angles add up to? Well, supplementary means straight lines, and supplementary angles easily add up to 180 because you can turn the S into an 8. As a reminder, 180. So question 5, supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. One final reason why is because complementary angles that are 90, two complementary angles make a straight line, and 90 plus 90 equal 180. So supplementary angles add up to 180, complementary angles add up to 90. End of story.